And in this video, we take a look at some information which was passed over to the police on the 8th of December 1995, just one day after the discovery of the bodies of Tucker, Tate and Rolfe.
Hello, police. Yeah, what's the problem, sir? We just drove down our farm track. Yeah. Go and feed our pheasants. We come across a Range Rover with 3 people in it. Yeah. It appears that they're dead. I don't know what's happening. Blood in the motor all over them.
And welcome back to a new video on the Essex Boys case. As always, if you are enjoying the content, please do give the video a thumbs up. And if you're interested in the Essex Boys case, or simply true crime in general, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. The following police printout is from the 8th of December 1995, where it states the following. Action number A1382. A man named Marco, who is an Italian, runs the Jake and Elwood pub on the A13 at Dagenham. He is a well-known villain. He organises the bouncers for pubs and other things. He doesn't hold the licence for the pub as he has convictions. One of those bouncers is a man named Steve Moon, who is a bouncer for Nigel Benn. He is now running the Phoenix Club in Harlow. This job was arranged by Marco. Both these pubs are owned by a company called Pubmaster, which is owned by John Marsden, who is very anti-drugs. One of the people shot in the Range Rover is a man called Tucker, who was a bouncer for Ben. There may be a connection in all of this to do with the drug scene. Okay, now this appears to be some information that the police received from an anonymous source, but yet again what strikes me first regarding this information is the fact that it was received just 24 hours after the bodies were discovered. So I'm not even sure if they actually released the names at such an early stage. I can't be sure if they actually released the names within a 24-hour period after the Range Rover was actually discovered. But interestingly there, it mentions that one of the men shot in the Range Rover is called Tucker. So that's Tony Tucker, who was a bouncer for Ben. There may be a connection in all of this to do with the drug scene. Now, having taken a look back at the newspaper articles from that date, the 8th of December 1995, it does appear actually that the names of all 3 victims were released just 24 hours after the discovery of the bodies. And this wasn't just in one newspaper, but multiple newspapers on the 8th of December. Let's just take a look at one from that date with the title, 3 shot dead in drug trap blown away. 3 men were executed in a gangland ambush yesterday just 2 miles from a huge drugs drop. Each had been blasted in the head with a shotgun as they sat in a metallic blue Range Rover. One of the victims was a former bodyguard of boxer Nigel Benn called Tony Tucker, we can exclusively reveal. Hardman Tucker was gunned down with 2 associates after being lured to what detectives believe was a drugs deal down a lonely farm track used by courting couples. Known cocaine dealer Patrick Tate, 38, who also had form for robbery, was another found dead in the blood-splattered Range Rover, with third man Craig Rolfe. Powerfully built Tate from Essex once staged a daring Great Escape-style motorbike getaway from court after appearing in the dock on drugs charges. The trio, unable to turn round in a narrow lane, were trapped like rats when the killers opened fire through the windows of the vehicle. As police searched for clues, footprints and tyre marks in the thawing snow, they were looking at links with a £1 million cannabis haul in and around a nearby pond 7 weeks ago. Detectives believe the drugs could have been part of a big shipment lost as it was dropped from a low-flying plane, or it may have been left by a bungling gang who forgot which pond they had hid it in. The track where the blood-soaked Range Rover was discovered in Essex early yesterday led to an isolated fishing lake owned by farmer Peter Theobald of White House Farm. It was discovered by Mr. Theobald and farmhand Ken Jiggins. The cannabis was found scattered at nearby Tanfield Tye in West Hanningfield. Farmer Jan Houstrup, who found it, said he believed the drugs were linked to the killings. Dutch-born Mr. Houstrup said, quote, "First of all, we found a little parcel of drugs when we were doing some of the hedges. I put it on the fire. Then there were another piece the size of a video cassette in my pond. Police later recovered a staggering 53 packets of cannabis wrapped in black plastic and weighing 336 pounds. Drivers found a further 19 packets. One cop said, quote, "He had never seen anything like this before. It's remarkable." Police are trying to discover if the killings were connected with a shooting some days ago near a Little Chef cafe where 3 men were seen running away. The bodies in the Range Rover were found just 300 yards from the busy A130 Chelmsford to Southend Road at Rettendon Essex. The near side front window had been shot out. 2 bodies were in the front of the vehicle and 1 was in the back. Detective Superintendent Ivan Dibley said there were no signs of a struggle, suggesting they were surprised by the cold-blooded killers. He added, quote, "It looks as if they've been enticed down there, or they may have been arranged to be down there." And he added, "The 3 men are known to us as criminals." They were understood to all come from Essex. The Range Rover had to stop at a 5-bar gate which was locked. On the other side of it were fields leading to the trout pond. Mr. Dibley said, quote, "The wounds are consistent with wounds from a shotgun." He added, "There is quite a lot of blood contained in the vehicle." Mr. Dibley said that at least 1 shotgun was used and the majority of its force was contained inside the vehicle. The condition of the bodies suggested they had been killed on Wednesday night or early yesterday. All 3 had been shot through the head, and he added, quote, "Whoever killed these people are clearly very dangerous, and to that extent I am concerned that they are at large." Police who sealed off the area after the bodies were found were carrying out a careful search of the area looking for clues. Post-mortem examinations are due to be carried out today. Okay, so we can certainly gather there from the newspaper articles which were released just 24 hours after the bodies were discovered that the names were released incredibly quickly. So this doesn't mean that someone's got in touch with the police and they potentially know something that the normal public wouldn't be in receipt of. So this person's rung up and said, you know, Tony Tucker was one of the people in the Range Rover. Well, that's already been released to the press, so that isn't actually anything special. What I do find quite interesting, however, looking at this piece of information from this anonymous source, is that he talks about a John Marsden who is very anti-drugs. Now, I think this also could tie in with the general public perception early on after these murders. You know, the fact that this could be tied in with the death of Leah Betts. Was this simply a retribution killing? I think overall, unless you were around in those days, unless you actually know the pub that's talked about, some of these names which are mentioned, it's kind of hard to really form any decent connection between any of these individuals and the death of Tucker, Tate and Rolfe. I also find, I guess, the idea of a retribution killing regarding drugs, I guess, a little bit far-fetched. Some people do say, you know, this was connected to Leah Betts. Her dad was, you know, a retired policeman. But I think in terms of motives, for me, at least personally, it's one of the less likely ones.